Why is everyone talking about 2016? Celebrities and probably some of your friends sending us back to 2016 by reposting old photos on Insta.
There was the mannequin challenge, Snapchat filters. There was so much to talk about 10 years ago.
People have been posting their photos from 2016, claiming that this year will be the new 2016.
2016, the year before everything felt so serious. Everyone was just happier then. Life felt more colorful. There was something in the air that we never felt again after the year of 2016. But why? What makes 2016 so special? Hi, my name is Xeni Games. I make videos about nostalgia and gaming. Let's go over the things that were big around this time in 2016 to try to understand why literally the entire world is nostalgic for it. The first topic I want to talk about is social media. 2016 might be the peak of Instagram. I remember I wanted to be an Instagram baddie. I remember everyone wanting to be an Instagram baddie or like an influencer. And like you could say, yeah, like a lot of people want to be influencers. But back then, posting every day on Instagram wasn't like, I'm trying to be an influencer, I'm trying to make money off of this. It wasn't like that. It was more like this free way of saying like, this is me and this is my aesthetics and this is my fits. It was not like a career climbing path. Maybe that's just me, but it just felt more liberating, social media. And now it's just, honestly, it's kind of suffocating. Another app that was huge around this time was Snapchat. Remember the dog filter and the flower crown? Yeah, that was 2016. All the cool kids had Snapchat. And as a plus, the cool celebrities had Snapchat. But more on that later. I believe Vine to be the golden era of scrolling. By the end of 2016, TikTok had started up and that changed everything. That is the time when we really became addicted to our phones. And you could say, wait, but Vine and Musical.ly were around already and those were also the same concept. It was short videos that you had to scroll. Yeah, true. They were short videos that you had to scroll and Musical.ly was basically TikTok before it rebranded, but when Musical.ly came out, it was not like TikTok. People kind of looked down on Musical.ly because the people that were on Musical.ly were mostly very young kids or niche people, furries and stuff. People kind of didn't fuck with music. That's just how I remember it. Yeah, you had some people that were big on Musical.ly, but they were big with kids, and they were also kids themselves. I'm talking about Jacob Sagatidis, Baby Ariel, Lauren Gray was a big one. It was not really popular with teens or adults. Most teens and adults were on Vine. Not per se posting things, just having the app and scrolling. But it was far from as addicting as TikTok is nowadays. And because the app was limiting, making sure you could only make a video of maximum 6 seconds, it had only one genre and one genre only, comedy. People loved Vine, okay? But it's not like we're gonna watch 100 comedy shorts. You'd get bored of that fast. So after a few videos of good laughs, you just close the app and move on with your life. But now on TikTok, there is endless scrolling because there are endless themes on TikTok. Tips and tricks and cooking and makeup and like literally people go on TikTok to look something up instead of Google nowadays. Plus the entertainment. That's why it's so addicting. I still miss Vine every day. And I was kind of surprised when the app shut down because it was such a huge success. But apparently Vine shut down around the end of 2019 because they couldn't really pay their creators, which sounds so scammy. So all those top creators left. Also, Vine just couldn't compete with Snapchat and Instagram at the time because they failed to adapt. Tumblr was also a huge thing back in the day, but I feel like Tumblr was more a big thing in like earlier age, but maybe that's just my personal experience with Tumblr. Around 2014, to me, was more like the Tumblr era. We also had We Hearted back then, which is basically like Pinterest, but I feel like Tumblr was more like for the edgy girls, the alt girls. You have the literal song Tumblr Girls by G-Eazy, which is one of the most nostalgic songs I've ever heard in my life, and I will always love. Even though I was way too young for that to be my favorite song at that time, but whatever. And We Heart It was more like, not really clean girls, but like back in the day, clean girls was like Ariana Grande, kind of pastel, baby lips, like that shit was more like 2014, but it kind of like dragged along to 2016. Those kind of chicks were mostly on We Heart It. we had many YouTubers that popped off around this time. Like the girly YouTubers that were big around this time was definitely Tana Mojo, Trisha Paytas. I personally watched a lot of Sarah Baska, and it was a lot of storytelling. We also got a great sense of how these YouTubers were in real life because it felt like they were talking to their friend, and that's exactly the reason why these videos popped off so much. I need more YouTubers to bring back story times. It was a big year for the storytime YouTubers, but it was mostly the year of beauty gurus. We had Jeffree Star, James Charles, Nikki Tutorials, Jaclyn Hill. I could name so many. There were even YouTubers who like collaborated with beauty gurus just because it was such a big trend back then. And when I look back at the 2016 makeup style, I just have to laugh. And not in a like that's ugly, but more in the way of like, it's so fucking crazy how much makeup style changed. 2016 makeup is literally the opposite of makeup now. The bolder the better, the bigger the better. Full coverage, big dark bushy eyebrows, big lips, big lashes, and it was truly the year of eyeshadow. Also, we used no blush whatsoever. And now it's the opposite. Clean girl, no makeup. You try to look as natural as possible. Also, I remember it was really a time when people did not match their face foundation with their neck. Not the people on YouTube or something, but just like in general, I feel like I saw that a lot, including myself. I was that bitch that did not blend. It was not part of the conversation. Oh yeah, and everything was matte, except for that crazy highlighter. Everything was matte. Your entire face. Even your lips. Talking about lips. So I don't know about you, but I was a Kylie girl. I used to watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians on like YouTube, like little clips of it, and I just thought it was hilarious. And around 2016, I was like obsessed with Kylie. She really was that girl. The chokehold Kylie Jenner had on all the girlies in 2016, it has to be studied. It was cult-like. And I thought she was so fucking cool that I even had her app. Now, back in the day, all the Kardashians had like their own app. Kylie's app was the most popular because she was that big of an it girl. There were like videos of her showing off her home and stuff and just like showing how she decorated everything and a tour of her kitchen and shit. So Tyga was dating Kylie at the time, which like when I think about that, that's so crazy. How was the family okay with this? Like I don't really understand. Also the fact that like Tyga came to perform at Kendall's Sweet 16 and Kylie was there as a 14-year-old, and then like 3 years later he started dating her when she was still 17. And I also remember at this time Tyga made like a diss track, kind of like not really a diss track, but just like a response track of like all the comments of like, what the fuck, you're dating a 17-year-old, you're pervert, which was called Stimulated, and everyone was just like, oh my god. It was a messy time. That song got so much backlash, and it's not even on Spotify because of how controversial it is. Okay, but moving on from that, man, I don't want to keep talking about Tyga. Back to the Kylie Jenner app. I legit only had that app for one reason and one reason only. King Kylie Radio. Kylie had her own radio. Yep. It included music that was very big at the time in the hip-hop genre. Songs like Caroline, Bad and Bougie is a big one, Hotline Bling, Uber Everywhere. It was specifically in the hip-hop genre the year of Ray Shroomered, with their songs Look Alive, Swang, and of course, who could forget, Black Beatles, which I think is safe to say was the anthem of 2016, especially when a mannequin challenge came along, but we'll talk about that later in a video. I want to talk more about music because it wasn't only a big year for new age hip hop, but some other songs that were huge around this time was Hello, Thinking Out Loud, Sorry, Can't Stop the Feeling. The Weeknd was huge around this time. Of course, Work by Rihanna. But I mostly want to talk about a specific music genre that everyone is feeling nostalgic for. I'm talking about the summer feeling, Visco Filter, beaches, bikinis. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Fast Car, In the Name of Love. And of course, Closer. These songs, I don't know what fucking crack is in here, but I need more of it. This type of genre just feels so nostalgic, and even when it came out fresh, they already felt so nostalgic, and I really can't figure out what makes them so nostalgic. If anybody knows, please fucking let me know, because I don't know what kind of magician shit is going on here, but I'm here for it. We're gonna go over these quickly. These were some of the biggest trends that were a thing in 2016. Pokemon Go. Everyone and their mom had this app. And don't kill me, but I never watched Pokemon. I wasn't really in with the lore, and I still am not. Don't kill me again. But even I downloaded this app. I just remember like being in school and everyone was just like trying to catch Pokemons. I remember reading an article or something that people thought it was healthy because, you know, you're walking around to do something online, but at least you're walking around, which is true, I guess. Yeah, I had the app, but I didn't really try to catch Pokemons. And eventually I deleted it. But it was a huge thing in 2016. It was like all over the news. Another big trend back in the day was Backpack Kid. Remember that? Katy Perry? Yeah, I don't really know a lot about this kid. I don't even know where he is now. I just know that he was so huge back in the day and everyone was doing this dance. Everyone was trying to do this dance. Everyone was copying him on Musical.ly, Vine, whatever. It was like everywhere. And apparently he made like millions with this, with just like doing this silly dance, which is actually insane and makes me very envious. Another thing is the ice bucket challenge. Every celebrity was doing this, and then they would like challenge another celebrity to do it, and then they would do it, and they would challenge another celebrity to do it. Another challenge of then was the mannequin challenge. I never done this, but I thought it was really cool. We had some dance challenges as well. Juju on that beat and Whip and Nene. I think some others too, but those were like the two big ones. And of course, guys, who could forget the bottle flip?
Do you have any special talents?
Y'all. Literally, it was actually so hard. Like, people who could do this, like, every time over and over again without failure, where do you come from? How do you do that? Also, they were doing a bottle flip and then, like, dabbing. I literally still have on my old Snapchat like a video of an old classmate of mine like doing the bottle flip, and then it landed and then he like dabbed. Another thing we need to talk about is colors, specifically hair colors. I don't know what happened to us, but it became a little boring. Back in the day, everyone had like bleached hair or very, very pigmented colored hair, ombre colored hair. I did it too. I bleached the fuck out of my hair. Did my hair look like hay? Absolutely. Did I care? Fuck no. And I think that's the beauty of it all, that I just didn't give a fuck. My hair was the unhealthiest hair you had ever seen in your life, but it's the color of a Starbucks unicorn drink, so who gives a fuck? I remember specifically why I bleached my hair. It was because I wanted to have the same color of hair as OK Sage or OK Sage, this girl. I needed white, like paper, fresh plastered wall white hair. Now, I was still in high school at the time. I was very impulsive. Like, I'm still very impulsive, but like back then it was literally chaos. So I was like to my friend, like, hey, let's buy like box bleach and let's color my hair at home. She was like, okay. And she bleaches my hair. The first time it turned out yellow. So we bleach it again. I bleached my hair for the second time and it's orange. Now, it's already kind of late and the stores were closed. So we kind of like, were like, yeah, I'm gonna have to go to school like this tomorrow. So the next day I go to school with a orange head, looking like a fucking Cheeto. Literally all my friends taunted me. I was also like not happy with how it turned out. Obviously I was a fucking Cheeto. And then I was like, okay, I need to not look like a sponge and I need to go to the hair salon right now. And that's what I did. I literally walked out of school. We still had class, mind you. And I just walked into the first salon that was like, I think it was like in the street of my school. Literally walked in the first fucking hair salon I saw. And I was like, hey, I need my hair bleached. I need white hair, help me. So hours go by and what happened was they bleached my hair 4 more times and then they toned it 5 times to get it to the color that I wanted. So overall, I had bleached my hair 6 times and toned it 7 times in 24 hours. Can you imagine what my hair looked like? Can you just imagine it? I did come out there with hay on my head. Literally fucking hay on my head. The beauty of it all was I didn't care. I was just so satisfied with the color. I was like, yes, I look like an ice queen right now, period. And genuinely, after that, my hair has never been the same. Like, I always had like thin hair, and like I don't have a lot of hair, you know? But ever since that day, it never grew the same ever again. I feel like I'm still healing from that time, which is crazy because that's 10 years ago. I really think it did like permanent damage to my scalp. So take from that what you will. But my point of all this is that no one gave a shit. We just cared about that the color was right, that the color was bright and vibrant. It was not a matter of do we look clean or do we look put together. It was more like, I want to look like a fucking unicorn. Like if you told 2016 me, hey, be careful because clean girl is later gonna be a thing, I would literally say like, what the fuck is a clean girl? The fuck is that kind of bullshit? If you would tell anyone from 2016, like, clean girl is gonna be a thing, everyone would literally be like, what the fuck is that? That sounds dumb. Because being a clean girl is like being a perfectionist, like trying to look put together, trying to look clean. You have your life together, which is not, you know, that's a good thing, but just like having your life together and like looking like you have your life together, looking perfect all the time, even when you go to bed. You know what I mean? Like, and there's nothing wrong with being a clean girl. I love feeling like a clean girl, but I'm just saying that I think that's why 2016 felt so free compared to now. We just didn't really care that much in the same way that we care now. Okay, movies. There were a lot of good movies that came out in 2016. I can't talk about every movie that ever came out in 2016, but I specifically want to talk about some movies that really impacted me during this time. The first one is definitely The Neon Demon. The Neon Demon was a movie by Nicholas Winding Refn. When I tell you I got obsessed with this movie, I bought books. I remember like begging my parents to buy me this hardcover book of him because I was so obsessed with his movies and his style, his cinematography. I was a theater kid, so I had to make an end year presentation, kind of, not presentation, just like a theater play kind of performance thing. The entire year we had to do research to that specific topic we want to make a performance about, and I chose the movie The Neon Demon, which was about, like, honestly, look into it. I don't want to spoil it, but it's so good. And it's still one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Aesthetic-wise, but also story-wise. I also love the movie Split that came out. That was a really good movie. And I'm a big fan of chick flicks, so some chick flicks that came out around this time that I was so hardly obsessing over was The Edge of 17, The Duff, oh my god, Nerve, the fucking crush I had on Dave Franco. Out of this world. I was way too young to obsess over that man, but he was so fine. Like, he was so fine around this time, and I feel like he was like doing a lot of movies, and then he kind of like disappeared from Hollywood, and now he's back with this new movie Together, this horror movie. I didn't watch it yet, but I really want to watch it. 2016 definitely was a messy year, but in a very good way. I miss the freedom we had back then, just like the mentality. And maybe it was because I was a teenager back then and I was just like having no responsibilities. Maybe that is why we're all nostalgic for it. But what I've seen online, a lot of age groups feel nostalgic for 2016. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you miss the most of 2016, or do you miss another year? I think I'm more nostalgic to 2014 rather than 2016. As always, enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and I will see you in the next one.